JIM-KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, and we earlier this month, or last month actually as it was now, had a segment of Uhf Vhf Yagi'S antennas part 1 in our Adventures in Radioland. So now we have Adventures in Radioland Uhf Vhf Yagi'S antennas part 2. Welcome to part 2 of the Uhf Vhf Yagi'S antennas. Part 1 of this series covered the building and maintenance of Yagi'S antennas. This segment will be about the operational side. First, Yagi'S do two things: reduce receiver signal noise and reduce receiver signal interference. So let me cut right to the chase. I love the challenges of long-distance VHF communications. There's a magic that happens at about 50 miles out from one's location, where the VHF signal bends down and starts following the contour of the Earth. You'll seldom find UHF frequencies doing this. My motto regards UHF is twice the power to go half as far. Now, I have experienced UHF magic, but I think about only once. And this had to do with a UHF repeater I ran across that was just screaming hot at 150 miles distance, and I looked up several UHF repeaters in the same general area and several UHF repeaters between here and there, but it was just this one that for whatever reason was just screaming hot 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for almost 2 solid weeks. Needless to say, I made a lot of new friends during that time. These new friends were as mystified as I about how this repeater could be acting as it was. But anyway, there you have my UHF story. Let's get back to VHF. So Vhf Yagi'S let you extend your targeting capabilities down through the countryside. I mainly used my VHF operation to make new friends by acquiring distant repeater communications in the 200 to 400 mile range. So let's talk about targeting. That is to say, one must decide what signal they're looking for. When I started my VHF exploring, I decided to go southeast. I picked this direction for 2 reasons. First, it was one of my best shots geographically. I'm up at the 300-foot bluff in the knobs, and they wrap around from the north through to the west, so VHF does not work well through mountains. The second reason I chose to explore VHF southeast was because I have always had a fascination for the mountain area and the people down around that area in northeastern Tennessee and Kentucky. So when I first started out building Yagi'S, 50 to 60 miles was a major trip. In that regards, there was this little repeater in the community called Bardstown, Kentucky, about 50 miles away. Well, I became pretty much a regular on that repeater, and after a while I started to notice I seemed to be keying up a second weaker repeater when I was working Bardstown. The Bardstown repeater was using a PL tone, so I cranked in the same frequency on my 2900 minus the PO tone. So now I was transmitting right over the top of Bardstown, and the second mystery repeater started coming back to me. Where was my signal going now? I finally very timidly asked if anyone could identify this repeater, and shortly a voice came back. This is the La Follette, Tennessee repeater on Cross Mountain. I was hooked big time on VHF after that. That transmission was about 240 miles. I've since talked to many other locations down through that area, including 9 times to Mount Mitchell in North Carolina, a distance of over 400 miles. So that is just some of the capabilities of VHF. We have a part 3 that will probably be coming next week or so. This is JIM-KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.